Live martial arts class. We're talking self-defense techniques with staff. I'm going to show you how to get started right away with any size staff, but especially using the long martial arts staff or long martial arts stick. In this case, the bow. Maybe you call yours the bong. Doesn't really matter what you call it, as long as it's a long staff, or at least longer than this. Hello, it's good to see you. That's a knife, right? And the nice thing about this stick, the martial arts staff, is it doesn't bleed. But the more important part about it is the length difference. Look at that. I mean, that's so obvious, right? I gotta pull it back just so you can see how much longer this is than the knife. When we talk about street fight self-defense, you talk about somebody who's coming at you with a knife. They get close enough, it can be all over for you, right? This is an awful weapon because it slices the body, it slices the face, horrible things. You've seen it. Or it lacerates, it cuts inside in the organs. Everything is just destroyed by this. And then sometimes the doctors can't put it back together. They can't sew enough stuff there and you're gone. But the difference between these two, even with the blade out, is an incredible amount of distance. The second thing is you now have, I'm gonna put that away, you now have a device, a tool that hits with extreme force while you're creating or keeping that distance. You can hold it in the middle or you can hold it from here, especially if they have that weapon, that knife, and they're coming at you, or maybe a broken bottle, or it's multiple attackers. You're able to strike here, immediately move here, and then with each one of these strikes, create maximum amount of impact and force to push somebody back, keep them off, or even stop the fight. So for self-defense, this becomes a very valuable, very important weapon when you consider those two main factors. Number one, the distance, the length advantage, the reach advantage between the knife and your bow or your martial arts long stick. And then this thing's getting old. There we go. Pop it there. Got it. So, but then the other part of it being just that force multiplier. Taking what you have naturally, your speed, power, strength, your ability to defend yourself with your hands, and then multiplying that, putting a hard piece of wood. This is a hard wood, hard oak or red oak bow staff. And depending on the different types of techniques, I'm going to show you a few techniques here in this workout. You can strike at a downward angle. You can create distance by thrusting. You can bring that backside forward in a horizontal strike. You can even bring it up under the bottom. A lot of times you've seen that figure four or even the figure eight kind of spin. And you're not going to spin so much. It's good to see you this morning. Not spin as much in self-defense, but you're going to spin to keep the body safe from injury, to condition your body to have stronger, harder strikes. Start with me here. We're going to get into the workout. Just turning from side to side. I always want you to think about the advantage of using a long martial arts stick. I see it now. I didn't see it before. So go back and forth. I was talking too much. Back and forth. Just warm up that wrist. Start to build power, strengthen the arm. But I'm here now. So if you have questions or comments, throw them up and I'll see them. Just twisting back and forth. Your goal is to get blood flowing into the joint to stay safe from injury, lubricate that joint. But also, what you're going to do here now is start to build strength and power in your grip, your ability to hold on to your staff when you do start to use it for self-defense. If it's street fight self-defense, the last thing you want to do is lose your staff, drop it, get it knocked out of your hand, whatever it is. You can't afford that in street fight self-defense, so you're going to build power in your grip in this basic move. Then from here, you're going to go from one hand out to the other hand. Good. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for following. Side to side. This is all about self-defense with the long martial arts staff. In this case, a hardwood bow. Side to side, it's going out, and you're bringing it back in. By turning it out and pulling back in, you're bringing it to a stop, and then you're pushing it the other way. This is a heavy staff. It's about 1.25 inches in diameter. It's 72 inches long, meaning 6 feet tall. and I'm on a squishy floor that's about an inch tall, so I sink down a little bit. This doesn't sink, so it's about the height of my head, maybe just a little taller on this floor. But when I stand on the hard floor, we're about the same height. I'm just a little bit bigger. But you go side to side, and this is all just to improve the strength, the power of that grip, your ability to handle your staff without losing it. Now, I wanted to show you one way that you can modify or progress. That means you're going to do this and then put it out to the side and do the same turning motion. And the reason you're going to do it out here is to start to build power in the shoulders, in the top of the shoulder joint and in the back, in those muscles, the deltoid muscles. You've got the front of the muscle, the top of the muscle, and the back. You're welcome. Thank you for being part of this global dojo. It's the only reason I can do this, because you guys are here with me right now. So you're turning it back and forth, and then you bring it to the other hand, and you do basically the same thing. And again, the reason for doing it to the side and not just the front, you're gonna do the front and go to the side, is because when you're here, you're really just using the anterior, the front muscle right here. That's keeping your arm. This is an easy position. This now fires the back of the shoulder and starts to stabilize that shoulder joint, making you stronger and less injury prone. And when we're talking about street fight self-defense or defending yourself with the staff, the martial arts staff, the bow, the bong, the gun, the cudgel, whatever it is you're gonna call it, you need to have strong shoulders. After you do that, the last warm-up move here, you're gonna go over your head. I gotta really squat here. Your arms straight, you're gonna turn it out and then go out to the other side. So that's, again, that's the same as this warm-up move, but you just change the plane, you get it up overhead, and again, it's hitting the back of that shoulder. The back of your shoulder is getting stronger, faster. Now let's talk about self-defense and basic blocks first. You're gonna have two ways that you hold it. Either both palms facing the same direction, in this case away from you like you're doing push-ups, and from here, when a punch is coming straight into your face, you're gonna lift the punch up and expose their ribs, expose their vital spots. So from here, your hand, you're holding it just like this, and you just simply push it up. Good morning. From here, it comes up, and then I want you to strike after every block you're gonna strike, right? The punch is coming in, you're gonna push it up, and then you're gonna strike. So it looks like this on this bag. The punch is coming straight, and again, you're just lifting. A lot of times people think that these upper blocks in martial arts, upper blocks are about an attack coming down on the top of your head. And it can be, but it's not always about that. Usually, it's anything, if you cut the body in half, you made a circle of your upper body, and you cut the body in half, you're welcome, thanks for saying that. Anything that's from here and up is an upper block. If you go to the lower part of the body, anything coming in here, a knife, a kick, a punch, a grab, someone trying to grab hold of you, all those things down there are low blocks. So we just have those two basic blocks to start. Anything from here up, lift their hand up. And so if you're throwing that punch and I lift your hand now comes up. That's where my target's going to be for my counter strike. So you're going to practice from here, pushing straight up. And notice that my elbows are locked. Lock your elbows. From here, push it up, and then strike, strike. So that's the next part of it. You have basic, good morning from Florida myself. I'm down here in West Palm Beach. Where are you? Block up here, strike, strike. The two strikes with this hand position coming from here to here, I like to think of as a simple punch, a straight punch, or a reverse punch that we do in martial arts. So think of it that way. Pushing up, and you're gonna punch up to the temple. 1, 2, 1. As simple as that. And when you do it, you're going, what part of Florida? You're going to do it hard, hard. 1, 2, oh, got in the way. 1, 2, and then bring it to a stop here on the top of that arm. Let me get this bag out so we can hit it proper like. So I block up, strike, strike. Remember, bring this back here. Make sure you have a nice, tight, firm grip. The second thing you're gonna do is that lower block. Anything coming into your body from here, you're gonna push down. They're reaching to grab, push it down. They're trying to stick the knife in, push it down. Maybe they're coming in with a kick, block it this way. And then when you block it, then same two basic strikes. Now, you can strike the head. You can, I keep hitting that back right there. Strike the ribs, kind of straight in, or strike the knee. Let me move you guys back. Give myself a little bit more room, making it too hard. There we go. Think of that as his knee. 1, 2. Strike that nice and hard as you can. In practice, you don't have to have something to hit. You might not have a bag. You can have a stack of tires. Those work really well. You might not have a stack of tires. Take a pole or a tree and wrap it in a lot of rags, and then tape it up with some kind of tape. Good morning from Indonesia, from Jakarta. From here, strike 1, 2. Practice high block. Practice low block. 1, up, up. 2, down, down. Practice that over and over again. You can put that in the form. That's the whole purpose of forms, is to just do the same moves over and over and over again. But I want you to think about self-defense. And the first basic idea is that simple block. Now let's talk about the next idea, which is getting behind your staff. Put the staff between you and the threat. That's a principle of self-defense. It's extremely important. Techniques are strikes, blocks, spearing motions, twisting motions, whether it's a twisting block or a twisting block. Those are all techniques which are all good and important. You need those. But more important than techniques are principles, ideas, strategy. So your strategy, your principle, is to fight from behind your staff. So let's say you're walking and the threat presents itself. We're gonna make this the threat again. The threat comes out. You have the staff between you and the threat, and you're gonna point your thumb at the threat. Now that's gonna get you into the second hand position. First hand position was like doing push-ups. Second hand position is more traditional striking self-defense, Japanese style. We're gonna talk about this knife again, right? So I've got this knife. Good morning. Where are you in Ohio, Tim? I'm an old Ohio person in Florida right now. So this knife, I have to keep showing you this, right? The reach advantage of the staff. Oh yeah, I love Marysville. Just pop that back in. One of my mentors growing up as a martial artist, an old, tough American martial arts master, lived in Marysville. So from here, okay, cool. They had the big race last weekend in Sebring. Pop that in. But the other thing I want to talk about is this. We're talking about self-defense, right? We talked about blocking that knife. It's coming into your body. You block the hand that's holding it. That's great. You can get in a position. I'm not going to hit the bag here, but let's say he's got the knife where you're going to block it, right? Or maybe you're going to do an upper block, or maybe you're going to do a block pulling and turning to the side. We haven't talked about that yet, but it's just simply like that. Just if you do that block, make sure one hand is above your head, one hand is below your head, or wherever you're blocking, right? Just blocking over. So blocking is very important, but think of this instead. If a knife comes out, don't block. It's too late to block. You're going to go first. This means only one thing. This is not a threat. This is, I'm going to end your life. It's for self-defense. It's what we're talking about. Basic street self-defense, real talk. There's no more question. This is not just a threat. If someone pulls this out on you, then it is not just your, there we go, not just your need to defend yourself, but it's your responsibility. Because that person go hurt a bunch of other people. And when they do that, you have to switch from fear in your head. There's a little switch you like flick in there, and you say, how dare you, right? You go from fear to indignation. Because fear means freeze. Fear means run if you can. Most people don't run, they just freeze. And then it's over. So you flip the switch and you go from fear to indignation. How dare you? You have no right to do that. I have every right to defend myself. So when that happens, remember the principle, staff between you and the threat. Remember the other principle? You gotta get the knife again. I was a little bit smarter today. I normally throw it way over there and I can't use it again. From here, this is my nice bow, but I can sand all this out. I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't bleed. I cut it. And it doesn't bleed. I know, it's a simple, silly oversimplification, but it's so important, right? Oh, good, welcome. Glad you made it back. All these cuts in here, it's still not bleeding. You do that same thing, that's a sharp knife, it's gonna slice your skin. You get in there and you cut a tendon, or you, God forbid, you cut the finger off, or you slice the muscle or tendon. Now the hand can't work. You slice a vital vein or artery, and you bleed out. They get in there and they lacerate, and you don't even feel it half the time, and then it's too late. So as soon as that knife comes out, you no longer are going to think about blocking. It's all about you hitting them first. And you have, again, that distance. You have the reach advantage. Now I'm going to show you about reach after I show you about the thumb, because this is super important. This is what you practice. This is what I want you to practice. Stand behind your staff, point your thumb at the threat. Imagine the threat, visualize in your head. And from here, point your thumb at the threat, right at their face. And what that does, because the stick is there, is that moves it into the back hand. And two hands on your staff are better than one, especially when we talk about the long staff, because of the weight, because of the length, because of the things that you can do with it when you have two hands. So now there's the threat again. His knife comes out. I'm not waiting. I'm just going straight in. As soon as I see that knife, I make that a trigger in my head, and then boom, I hit with whatever technique I can hit with. You ask yourself what the targets are. The guy comes up, what are the targets? His face, right? I missed him. I didn't look at him. Face. Go right through him. Maybe it's that thrusting strike, or coming down this angular strike. From here, you can go very quickly. You can even give yourself some room, move back a little bit, slide your hands down, have more distance, more power, more leverage, because you're holding here. When you hit, that's creating more damage because there's more stick between you and the threat. It can be pushing, be striking here. You can slide it to that other side, come across here, take out their legs, take out the legs, right into the groin, right into the midsection, right into the solar plexus, the throat, the eyes. It's all self-defense using the long martial arts staff. These are all self-defense techniques you use with the staff, the bow, bong, gun, cudgel, silim bomb. The silim bomb. Yes, welcome from Brazil. From here, you know, the silim bomb style from India. You also see a little bit in Indonesia, Jakarta. The FMA, the Filipino style martial arts, the Indonesian martial arts, Kali Salat, they all have staffs too. They might be longer, shorter, not as wide, not as thick, not as heavy. They might be made out of rattan or bamboo. It doesn't matter. All the principles are the same. Principles over techniques. Get behind the staff, point your thumb, create distance. Now let's talk about the techniques themselves. I want you to see from here, the first one is always going to be just a lunge from here to here, straight in. Where do you hit them? It depends. What's the best target? Is it their face, or the throat, or the solar plexus, the groin, the foot? Or maybe it's that vicious animal that's running around, you know, that's a dog or a pack of dogs. And you've got to just hit them in the mouth for self-defense, not because you're an animal abuser, so they don't maul you. It's your right to say, stay safe. Self-defense. You know what I mean? Anyway, first technique, from here to here. Now let me show you. You can also push. Yes. My favorite moves are the retention moves. We're going to talk about, I'll do that real quick. But I wanted to show you this first. And you can see that from here, That's increasing power. That's a hard strike. Notice that I turn my wrist up, that locks it in place, that hits harder. I turn this hand over, but also look at this from distance perspective. Remember the knife? I don't want that thing anywhere near me. So from here to here, kind of like a pull cue, you just increase that power. Yeah, you become immediate, direct, and explosive. This is always going to be the answer. Two opponents, immediate, direct, and explosive. Hit this one as hard as you can here. Slide that one through his face here. There's a third one. Bring that up under his chin or right between his legs. Bring the backside down. Bring that one through. Come through here, back here. And then the key is not to focus on one so much that you lose sight of the other two. So you explode into this one or two strikes, that's it. Bam, bam, come over here, move back to here, and you're back over here. Not quite like the movies, but you get the basic idea. Don't get so focused on one that you get stuck. This is a very inexpensive. If you look at the martial arts store link that I have below, these are very inexpensive. Great value. They'll last forever. Now, let's talk about retention of the staff, right? So, first, review. Thrust with a push. Thrust and push to create distance. Second one is an angular strike coming down. Temple, clavicle, arm, ribs, knee, leg, whatever. The angle is all the same. The height is different. And this is, I'm going to show you the third one. Coming across back here. It's a horizontal strike. Head, neck, shoulder, ribs, leg. And again, it's just that backhand, backhand, backhand. It's all about asking yourself, what are the targets? I can work on that. What are the targets that you're going to remove or destroy? This is a self-defense principle. Either temporarily, their ability to see because their eyes are watering, or think because you smashed them, or temporarily, or you knocked them out, or permanently, right? You went through the throat, crushed the windpipe, they're gone for self-defense. So you take away all these different, their ability to grab, their ability to stab, their ability to punch, their ability to run after you, their ability to throw a kick. You're taking it away, you're removing it, you're destroying it. So all the targets that you either remove or destroy, that's a question in your head for self-defense. What are my targets? And that will determine the technique and where you hit them. So I want to show you one more technique before I talk about that. Staff retention. From this position, palms out. I want you to practice changing hand positions. Changing hand positions. And I'm going to show you why. You might have it in your left hand, but the threat's over here. And you came here and maybe you hit him here, but then you want to get into this position so you can fight this way. Again, it was in your left hand. I'm left-handed, so that's why it's my left hand. I'm walking like this. I'm ready here, but he's coming here. I can still strike. This is a very effective strike. Come down on top. Bring this hand back, right? Sweep out the leg. But I also want you to know how to, without taking your hand off. That's the key. Don't get in the habit of never removing. Don't ever remove your hand. Roll your hand. Walk your hand. Palm walking, or bow walking, staff walking. Practice this. Every day when you work out for 30 seconds at least, practice this way to this way. Another way to do this one is a little fancier. You roll it over the back of the hand. Your hands come back out, coming out. And that's a spin. I don't spin in self-defense. I say don't spin. You can do this, and what this is really doing is you're doing a wrist roll over your hand. That's a wrist roll. And so it's firing the muscles in there, getting stronger. But the point is, in self-defense, learn how to keep your hands. Thank you so much. I'm just trying, right? Just doing the best I can. You guys give me the feedback. That's how I get better. From here, the other thing I wanted to show you, The retention, that's it, because you keep asking. All right, I have my hands here or I have my hands here, doesn't really matter. Let's say they grab the middle of the staff. And if I had somebody else here, I'd show you. They grab here. Now, I'm gonna show you from the side, the threat wants to pull it back. They want to jerk it out of your hands. Let's say that's the threat, he's pulling it toward them. You have to imagine, use your imagination. No matter where they're holding it in the middle, whether they have two hands on it or one hand on it, you are going to go with it. Allow them to pull that way. And as they're pulling, turn as hard as you can. Turn. Now, if their hand is here and you turn, see what that does? That locks my wrist. And then you're going to push down. This hand, I get some, they lock sometimes. You're going to turn and then drive straight to the ground. He's pulling the staff, turn, and then you're going to drive. Because he's pulling this way, he's not able to stop this. He's trying to pull it away from you, you turn. He's not expecting it, and he's not strong enough to stop it. You're pushing up and you're pushing down at the same time, and then you drive. Then drive the backhand. And that works if you go this way or if you go this way. That's what the palm's out. Now, if your hands are like this, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. You can also turn and push the backside. Turn and push the backside. Personally, I like both. I want to do this down and across, or this down and across. And then the next one, it's the same thing. If you get shoved up against the wall and he's pushing you and you have it and he's coming up this way, you're still very strong in this position because his force is going this way, back this way, right? Let him push you and then turn. Because the force is going this way, you're going to be able to push and turn. You're using two hands to go this way. The force is coming here. It's like when the police officers are chasing the car. They get up and they do what's called a pit maneuver. And the car is going this way. They just tap it in the back and it spins out. Yeah, if you can, but practice that turn. It's all about the turn. Now, if they have the staff like this, and you're on the other side, then you're going to spiral. And to do a spiral, one hand goes down, and the other hand goes up. And that's basically it. If they're holding here, and I have some videos where I do have, don't go for cheap. Value, erase the word cheap from your language. High value, low price, high value. Then I can help you. But think about all of the, and I don't know where you're located, but think about all of the drop ship garbage coming out of Alibaba and AliExpress. And that stuff, yes, yeah, we'll do that. I need a partner though, because you use that spiral block straight in and you use $50. This is less than $50. Go to the link below. It comes from a major American shipper. You can get them in a bunch of different countries. And it's quality. It's not, yeah. It's like $50. I think it's like $40, and then you get the shipping, and then that pretty much covers it. Sometimes you can shop sales. You can't buy them on Amazon anymore. I don't know why you can't find good staffs on Amazon, but check the link below. There's so many different options. This one is 1 1/4 inches. It's very heavy. It's a great self-defense staff. This depends on what you're doing. And stay there. I'm going to show you real quick. All right. I got to show you. Yeah. I'll show you my favorite one too. I'm going to save it for last. This is aluminum. This is great for demonstrations. I would not use this for self-defense. This is great. It's very hard. It's aluminum grade or airplane grade or what do they call that? And this isn't even half the collection. The rest are in Ohio. But this is fun to train with. This is fun maybe to do, you know, make it look really, really cool. This, I would not suggest for self-defense. It's going to bend eventually, and it's going to dent. I don't care what you, for self-defense, it's not going to work. It's too heavy, too. Yeah, it's really cool, and it's fun to train with. It's good for cross-training. This is a competition staff. I'm just trying to show you how thin it is and how light it is. It's tapered. It's made out of graphite. And this thing is great for spinning and going really fast. I have to be focused not to lose it. It goes so fast. But that, for self-defense, that's only for competitions and for one style of competition. That will not, you can't hit that against anything else or it'll break. So no good for self-defense. This is a tapered oak, red oak, tapered bow. I'm in West Palm Beach now. I was in Ohio up until like a year and a half ago, for the last million years. PVC is great for training, but you can't use it for self-defense because it'll break. It becomes brittle too, but it's good for training, and it's too flexible. So it's a good way to start. Don't wait to start. Use what you have. Use a broomstick, use PVC, but then move up to something like this. They're not that expensive. This is very lightweight, and again, this is the old style competition bow. This will break. If I hit it against that with any amount of speed, I just keep these for the kids who aren't as strong, but you can't do any self-defense with it. Thank you. Like I said, this is nothing compared to what I had. I've got a few more in the corner too. Where are we? Oh, this is my personal favorite if you're a beginner and you want to learn how to use the bow and do spinning and self-defense. Now, I'm going to put these down for just a second. This is rattan, and you can strike hard, fast. You can do all of the same strikes you can with the other ones. It's like a collie stick, only really long, or a screamer or a niece. But this one is also great for learning how to do the tricks. It has its own mind today. Because it's so lightweight, but it's also flexible and strong. That's rattan. That's in the bow staff store if you click on the link. And then the one that we've been using is heavy. I use this one because it builds my muscle. This is very heavy, a little bit bigger. This is red oak from somewhere in Asia, and probably sold through China maybe, or Pakistan. But this feels good. It's real nice. This is a great starting self-defense staff, and under 50 bucks. Might even be under 40 bucks. And then this one, they're all 62 inches. That's the standard length, or 72 inches, 6 feet long in standard. This is my favorite. I've had this over 30 years. This is specially made. This is 3 pieces glued together, laminated, and made just for self-defense. And this one, I wouldn't do it bladed. You're gonna cut yourself with a bladed staff. You don't need it anyway. It's made by a company called Bujin Designs. I don't think they make them anymore, but you can find things like this on Etsy. This is my absolute favorite. It's white oak. It's extremely strong, and no, I have a gym next door though, so I use their gym, like right next door. They have a great gym, small personal training style, but it's great equipment. But this is my favorite. You'd like this. So if you're asking hickory, red oak, white oak, I always prefer white oak. Hickory's great, but I don't know why. I just like oak better. All right, that's all I've got for you guys today. I'll see you in a little bit.